Good afternoon. Welcome to. I've got to stop touching my glasses because Sharon says I just keep touching my glasses all the time. So I went to touch my glasses in. Try not to touch my glasses. Hope you're all okay. This is a episode 1.2. We shall call this. I'm touching my glass again. My intention is to do a small review of the music of the album that I review during the actual reveal itself. So, but sometimes that's not going to quite be possible. So there might be a, episode 3.2 where I'll review it later. But I will try and review the album when I do the reveal as well. All nice and concise and neat. So let's see how we get on. So anyway, having listened to the album, just got to know a little bit better and the people in it and who appeared on it. And to recap, their names are Joseph Hodgson. I assume, well, he's a singer, I assume, and he's written the songs. I assume he's on rhythm guitar. And then there's a Johnny Hughes, assuming lead guitar. And I assume Luke Harrison is on drums. I'm not 100% sure on those, but that's just an educated guess. And on track 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, on track 5, Sarcastic Kiss. That is sung by somebody called Emily Render, and she's got a great voice. Just had a quick look for her on Spotify, and she's on there, and with something called the Broken Orchestra. Not sure if that's her band or just what she goes under, and that sounded pretty good. So it might be worth checking Emily out. Emily Render, her name was. Anyway, on with the task of just having a quick little review of the album by, of course, Sandra's Wedding and Frame Yourself, which is there behind me there. So yeah, it's I like the album, essentially. It's not something I normally would particularly go for, I don't think. And I feel sometimes that's a good thing. Just go out your comfort zone a little bit. Go for something a bit more lo-fi than what you would normally, that kind of thing. There's going to be obvious comparisons, I think, to Paul Heaton kind of stuff, Beautiful Safe and the House Martins, that kind of thing, because that's, but they've took their parents were into them and they've kind of grown up with it. And all bands take their inspiration from obviously different types of music in different times and different eras. So I'm not going to hold that against them. I'm just going to go with, as I see it, this is fresh music that's being produced today by 3 guys who are getting together and a girl for the one song, and they're producing some great music and some pretty poignant lyrics and messages within it. So I'm just going through quickly. There's a bit of slightly slow start to it, but I thought track number 3, Lip Service, which is the first single I think off the album. I like that. It's got a lyric in there called Lipstick and Vaseline. Now lay it on thick for me, or now you lay it on thick for me, something like that, which I quite like. And it's got like a bit of a sing along thing, almost anthemic a little bit. A couple of their songs are like that, which I quite like. It's easy to get into. It's got a feel good vibe about the whole album as well. So that's I think that's the first standout track that sort of jumped out at me. Sing along, and then there's a nice little section of songs there. Then there's one called Penguin Joke. I'm not quite sure what the joke is. Please tell me a penguin joke. But anyway, the context of this is that it seems like it's a football away trip to me, and it's kind of getting away a little bit from their normal kind of their normal sound. It's a little bit different. It leaves you kind of it's a nice story, a little bit understated. It kind of leaves you wanting a little bit more, which is quite nice in a way, but you do want a little bit more from it. But that is a good song and some great lyrics in there, and there's a great little story to be told, so they're doing some good stuff there. And then on to number 5, which is the one that Emily Render sings. That's kind of taken a little bit of a mood change, quite a sort of sad song, kind of love song there. That's really good. Got a good feel to it. Comes at a nice time. You've sort of laid those 4 tracks down, and you just want a little bit of a change of pace. And there is a nice little bit of a mix of change of pace in this album, which is quite nice. Just it's not all the same. It's not too similar in places, and I think Joseph, doesn't necessarily sing all the same on some of them. Some of them's a little bit different. I like Villain of the Piece is next up. I think that's one of their top songs on this as well. It's kind of rain drenched. It's got this bit about a rain sort of soundtrack over the back of it in places. It's a little bit Roxy music, I thought, this one. It's kind of, he sings it a little bit differently, and there's some sax in there and things like that. Nice acoustic melody as well, driving the song, which is pretty cool. So check that one out, definitely. And then I think I went on to track 8, which was Homicide Gymnastics, which I thought was like possibly their top track, or one of the top tracks on the albums, which I liked anyway. That, it's got a serious message to it, but it's in a way that's quite quirky, and it's got it's about family, and I've lost my note on it there actually, but what I put about that one, I shall find it somewhere. Yeah, a story of lost innocence in it essentially. I thought that was a really good track, clever lyrically, and nicely laid down. And again, just a little bit different. Keeping it interesting, keeping the record interesting. And then I think on 9, which track. I've sort of abbreviated some of these tracks, and just because they're so bloody long. No Tools Left in This Van Overnight, and bloody Cold Wet Tuesday Night in Stoke, and Kicking in the Head of Loneliness. They're quite long tracks, so I'm doing a wedding present here and shortening them down. But it doesn't make it any easier, because I look at them, it's just a bloody series of letters. What the hell's that? Well, there you go. It's meant to help, but it doesn't in this case. But yeah, I thought they were going on to Cold Wet Tuesday Night in Stoke, and I think a few of us had one of those. I think last time I was in Stoke was on a Cold Wet Tuesday night, seeing Working Men's Club Band at the venue up there in Hanley. So we've had a few of those, and that is a great song again, lyrically very clever. Got in there, we've got It Only Took a Belgian 5.9 to tell you I scored sometimes, which is clever, alluding to the alcohol content percentage of a beer, a Belgian beer. So, and there's another one of those in there, I think it's slightly stronger, the next one or something. But I thought that was very clever way of, something you wouldn't particularly normally think of, and that's very clever. Moving forward, more of that would be great. I think I've listened to some of their older stuff a little bit, and this album is definitely their best so far. Their best stuff so far. There's some really good tunes on there. Rated some of them 9, in top tunes there. So Homicide Gymnastics, Cold Tuesday Night in Stoke, really like that. Lip Service, some cracking tunes. So start of A, middle of B side, some really good tunes on there. I'm happy with my purchase. If there's anything else I need to really say on that, take a look at it. I think it deserves repeat listening. It might be one of those you first put on and think, it's a little bit, not 100% sure of, but over time, and you get to listen to these key songs in there, and they all link quite nicely together, and there's a nice ebb and flow to it, I thought. So there's some very clever lyrics, so Joseph's come up and hit the nail on the head there. He's got a good voice as well. Going forward, maybe let's get a bit more dark and dirty and a bit more gritty. It's all very feel good, and sometimes the feel good kind of takes over where you've got these dark songs and you think, well, does that go with that? But generally, I'm very happy with this purchase, and some cracking songs on there. So have a listen for yourself. Some tom-toms as well, tom-tom drums, and a couple of the songs, which is quite nice, and different instruments being used. It's good. So I like it. Basically, from a graphic design point of view, noticed that there's a double space in there, fellas, for your return. And I was reading through the lyrics, and some of the lyrics don't match actually what was sang, which you do get that. I appreciate that. And sometimes when you're in the studio and they lay these tracks down, they end up changing the words, and they don't end up changing them on the written lyrics, I suppose, things like that. So just a small point, but anyway, gents, Joseph, Johnny, Luke, and Emily, well done. You've done a cracking album there. Second album, great stuff. Keep going, and we'll see you again for episode 2. Cheers. Thanks.